As Crystal Bridges in the Momentary, we recognize our role as settlers and guests in the Northwest Arkansas region. We acknowledge the Caddo, Quapaw, and Osage, as well as the many indigenous caretakers of this land and water. We appreciate the enduring influence of the vibrant, diverse, and contemporary cultures of indigenous peoples. We are conscious of the role in colonization that museums have played. As cultural institutions, we have a responsibility to engage in the dismantling of historical and systemic invisibility of indigenous peoples past, present, and future. We choose to intentionally hold ourselves accountable to appropriate conversation, representation, connection, and education to facilitate a space of measurable change.
Hi, I'm Lauren Haynes, Director of Artist Initiatives and Curator of Contemporary Art at the Momentary in Crystal Bridges. And I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you about Derek Adams' Sanctuary. This is an exhibition that originally was organized by the Museum of Arts and Design in New York City, and along with Derek Adams and the independent curator Dexter Wimberly, we were so excited to be able to bring this exhibition here to the Momentary in Bentonville. Derek Adams' Sanctuary really takes as its starting point the Green Book, which was written by Victor Hugo Green. And the Green Book really was meant as a guidebook for African Americans living in the United States to understand as they were traveling across the US, going on road trips from around 1936 to 1967. Where could they stop and be safe? What hotels could they stay in? Really, all the things that we almost take for granted as we're traveling across the United States. The Green Book was meant to serve as a guide for safety. And throughout his practice, Derek Adams really takes this idea of Black leisure as an important theme in his work. You know, what does it mean to think about even just traveling across the United States, going on a road trip, hanging out in a pool, these ideas that can feel so commonplace, but for many Black Americans, as we know, are very fraught and filled with difficulties. Derek takes this idea and takes these themes, again, as a starting point to create works that include sculpture, collage works, that really allow us to delve deeply into these ideas and look at these themes and take away just a little bit of history, but also really bringing it to the present. One of the topics that Derek Adams considers in Sanctuary is this idea of driving while Black. And next to me, you see these en route banners. Derek has recreated the car door from an automobile with sayings like, "Are we there yet?" You know, these sort of familiar things that you hear when you're on a road trip and your passengers, sometimes kids, are asking these questions. And what he's really asking us to consider is this idea that, you know, in the 20th century, going out on the open road really became this sort of almost like American dream. And as we know, for Black Americans, this isn't as simple as it could be. Again, it's talking about this idea of how do you take something that we sort of see as so simple, but we know can be fraught, and across the United States, both in northern and southern states at the time, and even honestly still to this day, Black people can't always just get in their car and go. They really need to sort of consider and map out where they're going to be, where they're going to be at night. And the Green Book during its creation was meant to help with some of this, and text saying things like, "We've come a long way," or "Can we get a break?" Something that I like to think about as a play on words. So this idea of the Black American experience, you know, we have come a long way, but can we get a break? Can we really think about progress? Are we there yet? Are we where we're going to be? Another aspect of Sanctuary are these 8 works on wood panel that really take as their inspiration point some of the places and locations that you would have found in the Green Book. So while Derek was doing his research for this exhibition, he started Googling the addresses of the places that he would find and discovered that many of them have been closed for decades. Places that had some really great and interesting and unique names no longer are in place. So with these panels, he's really diving into these subjects and looking more deeply at some of these locations like auto body shops or beauty shops or restaurants and hotels, and just using his signature style of collage and layering to have a bit of fun as he's delving into these works, but also just using this amazing amalgamation of materials that he has collected throughout his studio practice. each of these panels has things like sunglasses or wrenches or playing cards or picks, and these ideas that really are referencing the businesses that were in the Green Book, and a way that is fun because it doesn't exactly say, oh, this panel is about this place and this location, but really more representative of the types of businesses and types of locations that were represented in the Green Book. And here in Gallery 3, in the final room of Derek Adams Sanctuary, we have a fantastic roadway sculpture that Derek has created. And in it, you see these cars that Derek has made from driving caps. You know, people used to dress up and wear specific clothing for driving, like driving hats, driving caps, and gloves. And Derek has taken these caps and turned them into cars that are traversing this roadway that is made up of enlarged reproductions of pages from the Green Book that really focus on some of the different locations and some of the different ads and different information you would find in the book. And I love it because, again, there's so much detail and so much ways that you can actually get up and really look and see some of the pages and information come to life. And throughout the exhibition, you'll also see some other wallpaper reproductions of pages from the Green Book that Derek has specifically picked for us to enlarge and reproduce, to have people, again, get a little bit more context and also dive in deeply. And there are some that are very much focused on Arkansas and Northwest Arkansas and our region here, so you can actually even see and feel like you're understanding a bit more about the experience that happened here in this region. And for me, I really like to envision each of these individual sculptures almost like the different people that would be traveling. You know, they're all different caps and different designs, and really allow for this idea of thinking about just the multitude of people that travel and multitude of Black people that use the Green Book to help better place and help better plan their trips as they were traveling across the United States. When Victor Hugo Green first created the Green Book in 1936, it was a 15-page booklet, and it really focused on the metropolitan New York area. But because of how well used it was and how many people really wanted it, it began to expand outside of New York and to cover the whole United States. And one of the fascinating aspects for me about this exhibition is also the way that we think about safety and what it means to really, you know, go towards places that you feel like are safe and where you can be yourself and bring your full person. And thinking really about the ways in which the locations in the Green Book are these beacons, these almost lighthouses in a way that are calling out to say, this is where you can eat, this is where you can sleep, this is where you can have fun. And in Sanctuary, Derek Adams has created these beacon sculptures that take as their starting point the art projects that young art students would make. And so what he has done is sort of recast those in concrete, this idea, this show of strength and resilience, and lit all of them from the inside, because once again, this idea of this beacon of light, this beacon of resilience, this beacon of hope that calls out to people and calls out to Black people as they were traveling across the United States. But also, as we really think about it now, we can all use these beacons of hope as we're thinking about our current moment. Derek Adams Sanctuary closes on June 6th, and I really hope everyone is able to come and see this exhibition in person to really experience the range of work that Derek Adams has created, and also to really reflect on this current moment that we're in. There's just so much to see, so much to experience, and it's really worth more than one visit.